Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Jennifer Miele, Chief Communications Officer and Managing Director of Evangelization of the Diocese of Greensburg.
Hello and welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele, and I'm very excited today to talk about a nonprofit organization that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg. You know, Catholic Charities really struggled this year in terms of fundraising versus the number of requests for assistance they got. Normally, they would have a golf outing, a gala, a purse bash, and that would cover the cost of donations that would go directly to people in need. Well, obviously, with gathering restrictions and COVID-19, they certainly weren't able to have any of those events. And so they looked to try to find another way to raise money, another way to appeal to people that could help in this time of great crisis. So they launched their first ever Guardian Angel Appeal. The Guardian Angel Appeal featured a number of individuals who were on the front lines of COVID-19 and never stopped giving of their time, talent, and treasure. It was amazing. They had modest goals and ended up exceeding those goals, raising $233,000 in their inaugural Guardian Angel Appeal. Isn't that just wonderful? Msgr. Raymond Riffle is the managing director of Catholic Charities. He was absolutely delighted with the results of the inaugural campaign. It was a 6-week virtual fundraising campaign, mostly seen on social media. And it's certainly understandable for him to feel that way because it really did eclipse every goal. And all of those who continued to contribute to the community during COVID-19, a special thank you goes out to all of those individuals. In fact, he told me he was just amazed at the success of the campaign. You know, they went out, they asked for support in the middle of a pandemic, and it really said that the Diocese of Greensburg and its parishioners are always mindful of their responsibilities as good followers, good people of faith to care for the people of God in their lifetime. And the Director of Communications for Catholic Charities is Heather Rady, and she normally organizes all of these special events. And so she was the one taking in the donations and just was excited more and more every single day seeing all this. The campaign kicked off on October 2nd, 2020. And they had anonymous donors of $25,000, $100,000. So they kept raising their goal higher and higher and higher. Finally set that goal at $200,000 and reached it. So those game changer anonymous donations were amazing, but then more people in need stepped up, and it's been wonderful. So the Guardian Angel Appeal was launched as part of the Diocese of Greensburg's ongoing response to COVID-19. And not only was it held in lieu of the 3 annual fundraisers that are a tradition, but again, it honored those people who are giving back during the pandemic. So I want you to hear a little bit about Dr. Heather Walker, the Assistant Director of Emergency Medicine at Excella Health Westmoreland Hospital. She's also a parishioner at St. Vincent Basilica in Latrobe.
I'm Dr. Heather Walker. I practice emergency medicine at Excella Health, Westmoreland, Frick, and Latrobe. I'm the Assistant Director of Emergency Medicine at Westmoreland and the President of Excella Health's medical staff. I've lived in Greensburg most of my life. I was fortunate enough to go to 12 years of Catholic school, first at what was then Blessed Sacrament Cathedral School, now Aquinas Academy, and then on to Greensburg Central Catholic. The community surrounding each of our hospitals has been amazing since the beginning of the pandemic. We have had donations of personal protective equipment. We've had donations of food and goodies. One of my favorite things was outside some of our buildings, people left us signs, yard signs, drew on sidewalks, just messages of hope and support. It was so wonderful to walk into the building to those positive messages every day. In COVID-19, I pray a lot. Not that I didn't before, but I find that I pray on my way to a shift. I pray for the safety of myself and then consequently my family, that of my coworkers, my staff, everyone in the building. There are so many people that help us in the emergency department. I pray for help and guidance when I need to make decisions quickly. I find that I draw strength from that and hope that the people around me feel that as well.
Healthcare workers face tremendous challenge through the COVID-19 pandemic, learning about the disease while simultaneously trying to fight it. Their job was to care for the physical health of the entire community. At Catholic Charities, the priority has been caring for the hearts and minds of thousands of individuals, where faith-based counseling has been a mainstay. Fears and anxieties are raised during any crisis, and especially during this pandemic. At Catholic Charities, counselors quickly converted in-person services to virtual and telecounseling. Mental health is one of the collateral damages of isolation during the pandemic, and that can magnify with any pre-existing mental health condition. Catholic Charities provides an outlet for mental health needs. Through your donations, thousands of individuals will continue to receive subsidized mental health services. We're asking you to support Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg and become a guardian angel for your community.
In emergency medicine, I feel like in some ways we're a guardian angel all the time. We take care of patients, any patient who walks through the door 24 hours a day. We take care of everyone, no matter who they are, where they come from, or what kind of care they might need. So I like to think that we're guardian angels all the time, not simply during the pandemic.
What a great story. Welcome back to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. Delighted to be talking to you today about the success of the inaugural Guardian Angel Appeal. This was a fundraiser by Catholic Charities to help those in need during the pandemic. The next story that was featured in the campaign was about Kathy Duez. She's the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels and a parishioner at Ascension Parish in Jeanette.
My name's Kathy Duez. I'm treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels. We have been in existence since 1970. This is our 50th year. I started 8 years ago. I was a cook for 20 years and decided that I could lend my expertise, I guess, to Meals on Wheels. We service Greensburg, Jeanette, and Harrison City now. Right at this time, we serve between 160 and 170 meals a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We have between 150 and 200 volunteers, between drivers, runners, and cooks. We have a wonderful bunch. We've had a lot of new volunteers. We've had a lot of our old volunteers step up and take more than one route. We have tried to limit our contact with our clients and put their meals in the bags and hang them on their door and then knock and let them know that their meal is there. There was one particular occasion when one of our drivers went to a gentleman's house and his truck was still in the driveway and he didn't answer the door, called the emergency number and it got a hold of his son. He went to the house and found that his father had had a stroke, and actually he survived. He got to him in time, that he was able to call an ambulance and he was good. We're glad that we can help. We know that a lot of our clients, we're the only people they see, maybe sometimes during the week. So we're glad. We're a good organization.
Meals on Wheels continued during the pandemic, and so did the mission of parish-based food pantries across our diocese, distributing food once or twice each week. But the need for food increased significantly. Fortunately, Catholic Charities was able to prepare significantly more food boxes to fill the gaps between those parish distributions. That's something we can continue to do through your generosity. Now it's your chance to help. Prayerfully consider becoming a guardian angel of your community.
I decided to do this because I thought it was a good program and found out that it is an outstanding program. Our clients love the meals that they get. I found a purpose in my life when I came here and I really love it.
Kathy's been a wonderful supporter of her church, a wonderful supporter of the diocese, and really, truly made an impact on the first ever Guardian Angel Appeal hosted by Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg. The next person featured in the Guardian Angel Appeal is Jeff Petronelli. He's a firefighter, Greensburg VFD, parishioner at St. Paul Parish in Greensburg, and a Grand Knight for Knights of Columbus Council 1480.
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
My name's Jeff Petronelli. I'm a lieutenant and belonged here at Host Company Number 8 for the last 37 years. I answered fire calls when needed. We answer emergencies. We run an AED calls, which is an assist the ambulance. Mainly my goal as a volunteer fireman, go out and help people that have had tragedies, that have had fires, loss of loved ones. I'm very community oriented. I'm always out to help people. I'm born and raised here in this town. I'm 59. I volunteer a lot. With the Knights of Columbus also. I'm Grand Knight in the Greensburg Council. I'm a district deputy for the state, and I've also served as Greensburg chapter president.
Firefighters like Jeff are truly heroes of hope. They provide an immediate response to all sorts of emergencies, and through God's grace are truly lifesavers. What may not immediately come to mind is the collateral damage of those emergencies and where it leaves people at the end of the day. When the first responders return to base to await the next emergency, oftentimes there is a different kind of need on the scene. Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg responds to longer-range realities of disasters. For example, a tornado hit Uniontown in February 2018. Catholic Charities provided more than $10,000 in assistance for rent, heating fuel, water, electric bills, and hot water tank and furnace repair. Greensburg Catholic Charities will rise to the challenge again, assisting with the long-range economic impact of COVID-19 on families in the Diocese of Greensburg. We're asking you to help us meet that challenge and become a guardian angel for your community today.
I'm proud to be a member of the fire department. I'm proud to serve my community that way. That's the big thing. In the fire service, we give back to the community, not only in fighting fires, but in charitable donations. If someone needs something, we'll try and help you out.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome back to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm Jennifer Miele. Thank you so much for joining us today. Great news to start this new year. The Catholic Charities Guardian Angel Appeal Heroes of Hope featured. Lots of people responded, donated lots of money, more than $230,000 raised to help people in need. The next person featured in the campaign is Joe Rice. He's the principal of Aquinas Academy in Greensburg and parishioner of Christ the King Parish in Leechburg.
I'm Joe Rice, principal at Aquinas Academy. I'm a parishioner of Christ the King Parish in Leechburg. I went to Mother of Sorrows School in Murraysville and then went to Greensburg Central Catholic.
Morning, everybody! Welcome to Tuesday.
So I was going to the University of Pittsburgh, getting my undergraduate degree in psychology, and discovered that I really liked learning how people learn. It really drove me towards education. So I finished up my degree in psychology and realized right away that really what I wanted to do was teach. I worked at Mother of Sorrows as both teacher and principal, and then came here to Aquinas Academy, where I've been the principal for the last 5 years. In mid-March of last school year, we got word that there was a possibility of being shut down because of the pandemic. We were sent home for 2 weeks, and so those 2 weeks turned into the whole fourth quarter, and before we knew it, we had become experts at being online teachers. So we spent a lot of time in professional learning over the summer and growing and taking the lessons we had learned from the fourth quarter and preparing for both virtual and in-person instruction this school year. And we ended up with, as of right now, about 10% of our students are using virtual instruction. And the way that it works is our teachers are using a program called Schoology. Students can access their work there, and teachers upload and bring all of the work to Schoology. And so our students are able to jump on a video conference from home and be a part of the class.
Principals, teachers, and school staff like Joe Rice are truly heroes of hope. Within days of the governor's mandatory stay-at-home order, the Catholic schools in the Diocese of Greensburg were able to move to distance learning. Amazing amounts of learning were possible thanks to advances in technology and remote connectivity. At Catholic Charities, remote connectivity has enabled us to help thousands of individuals in the Diocese of Greensburg through an information and referral line, answering nearly 20,000 calls every year. Many years ago, Catholic Charities realized that one of the hindrances to people seeking assistance was a lack of transportation infrastructure. COVID-19 only emphasized the need for a referral line during a time when people were not able to leave their home. Greensburg Catholic Charities answered calls for needs related to all kinds of pressures: food, clothing, shelter, and utility bills, among others. Many times the needs were magnified by employment loss. We can continue to respond to those needs with your help. Consider becoming a guardian angel for your community.
The way education was taught before March of 2020 had taken about 300 years to evolve, and the way students are being taught today took about 6 months. And so we have completely revolutionized how students learn. And I don't mean just us, I mean teachers across the world.
The next person featured in the Guardian Angel Appeal is a wonderful hero of hope, a young lady named Ashley Chappell. She is a mutual aid EMT and a parishioner at St. Paul Parish in Greensburg.
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
My name's Ashley Chappell. I've been an EMT with mutual aid going on 5 years. When people get hurt, I'm there taking care of them. Growing up, I actually saved my dad's life in a swimming pool accident, so that's what got me into the medical profession. I feel like a guardian angel every day going in and helping people. I grew up in Greensburg here in the same house that my mother grew up in, and it was just an opportunity to give back to my community.
Like Ashley, Catholic Charities worked hard to respond to emergencies like COVID-19. Catholic Charities offered free webinars to assist parents and children who were struggling with fear and anxiety during this pandemic. The first one, Talking to Children About COVID-19, featured Dr. Paul Nemec, Director of Counseling at Catholic Charities. He provided discussion resources for helping children understand what is happening and express their worries. The second one featured Msgr. Raymond Riffle, Managing Director of Catholic Charities, who hosted an online story time for children, encouraging them to rely on their faith during this difficult time. Free resources for children and families like this are only available because of your support. Consider being a guardian angel for your community today.
I think my faith has got me through COVID because I've been praying more for everybody that I work with and all our patients, that we can just get through this safely without panic and know that everybody's there for each other. The community actually was very generous. They donated food, people have delivered masks to us, we've gotten face shields made and donated to us, and just the various water and just the prayers that everybody's been giving us to get through this situation. I think it's very important that Catholic Charities gives back to people because that way they're not afraid to call us and have a way to get to wherever they need to go. They can't be afraid to call for us. On behalf of Mutual Aid, I know we are very grateful for everyone's generosity to get us through these hard times, and it means a lot to us with all the support.
One of my favorite stories is coming up next, and it is about Ann Kowalczyk and Debbie Source. They are parishioners at Church of the Good Shepherd in Kent, Indiana County. They were featured in the campaign for a project that they worked on through the church in which wedding gowns are repurposed for infants who are seriously ill and need to be baptized in the hospital.
A father that I know that came to me and saw me making these, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I told him, and he said, "I had a child that died. And when my wife was in the hospital," he said, "she couldn't go out and get something nice for the baby." And he said, I didn't know what I was doing. And he said, "It would have been wonderful to have this available so that we didn't have this to worry about on top of the stress that you feel." And I had a lot of girls come to me and say, "What do I do with these old dresses?" Plus I had some dresses that people would donate and say, "This is my grandmother's dress, I want to make a christening gown." And I would, and then I have extra material left. And it gave me an outlet to repurpose those gowns so that none of that would be thrown away, because wedding gowns are precious to people. And now they're even more precious to be repurposed for these infants in the hospital.
Seamstress Debbie Source has made dozens of baptismal gowns for infants who will never leave the hospital. She's a parishioner at Church of the Good Shepherd in Indiana County and was inspired by fellow parishioner Ann Kowalczyk, whose granddaughter was baptized in the hospital before she passed.
And we arrived at the hospital. They were already waiting for us, and she dressed like a queen. They put a white gown on her. Where does it come from? I did not even think about it. And I feel a little bit guilty that I did not dress her up, but they did it for me. And as soon as I saw that she was so pretty, so dressed up, they did that for me. I had this feeling that at one point I will give back. I don't know how, but I will give back.
Together, the women collect wedding gowns to repurpose, and they are truly heroes of hope. For many years, Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg has assisted organizations in repurposing clothing for children and adults by recognizing, honoring, and raising the profiles of St. Vincent de Paul and Christian layman organizations. Both provide an outreach ministry that helps to clothe thousands at a discounted rate. But it's about more than just clothes. It's about providing an uplifting experience and treating every person with dignity. That's part of the mission of Catholic Charities, and it can continue with your generous donations to the Heroes of Hope Guardian Angel Appeal.
For the longest time, I didn't know where my talents would lie, and many of us don't know that. We don't know how we can help. We don't know what talents and gifts God has given us, but He's given us all talents and gifts. We just need to find them.
What Ann and Debbie are doing is using the gifts that God has given them, not just for themselves, but to show that mercy to others, to show God's love to others. It's a beautiful way of using the gifts that God has given them to build up the church.
Your contributions to the Guardian Angel Appeal will continue to build up the church as well. Welcome back to WHJB and the show Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. I'm honored to be with you today to talk about Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg and their Guardian Angel Appeal. Catholic Charities doing so much for the community, and special thanks to the Managing Director of Catholic Charities, Msgr. Raymond Riffle.
Hello, I'm Msgr. Raymond Riffle, Managing Director of Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg. I ask you to prayerfully consider supporting our work. With so many schools transitioning to online learning and the lack of free lunch programs, many of the individuals we are currently assisting are children. In addition to the daily need of food for children, urgent baby supply requests are coming in at almost every hour. At the same time, we are responding to meet the needs of the recently unemployed who are struggling with rent and utilities. Needless to say, these are all-time critical requests. I am extremely proud to say that Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Greensburg is responding to those calls and using every resource which we have available to help. Our work can only continue with your support. Right now, we need your stewardship more than ever. I ask you to please take a moment and pray for those who are suffering those who are in need, and for the safety of all who serve us every day on the front lines of the COVID-19 health crisis. I ask you to please consider visiting our website, ccharities.greensburg.org. Click on Get Involved and learn how you can volunteer or donate. Click the Donate Now button at the bottom of the screen. On our website, you can also learn about how Catholic Charities connects people with the vital assistance they need. However, in this time of social distancing, we are taking connectivity even one step further. I'm happy to tell you that Catholic Charities counselors will be available through a form of telecounseling for those struggling with their mental health during this crisis. From the bottom of my heart, I say to you, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele, and we look forward to joining you again soon.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.